Right, I've run out of space on the last SD card. This is a Mini Cooper Works, modern day one. There's a Golf GTI Mark 3 or 4, I think, not sure. Here's a Cadillac, just here. Well, don't know which one that is, probably CTSV or something. Here's a Bentley, it's a Turbo R. Next to a Ford 8. There's a side valve. Oh, this is the side valve owners club, I think, this one I'm coming across now. There's got a couple of their cars here. Got Ford Model 8, and then you've got, and this is a Ford Anglia, not the one I'm thinking of, not the one I like, but you had the sit up and beg ones, you had these, and he did evolve. Another Ford Model Y, another side valve, I think. Here we see something, a Fordson pickup. I thought Fordson just made tractors, but they did do commercial vehicles. There's other brands of, another brand of commercial vehicles by Ford was Thames. If we look to my right, there's a Triumph Vitesse again, next to a Toyota Celica GT4 from 1993, I think. Next to a Mini pickup. So this would have been 1979. There's the British Leyland symbol on it. Here's a Mini 1275 GT. Now that is a proper Mini. That's the design as given by Alec Isigonis. A very clever setup as well. Here's a Mini S, sort of a drop top, sitting next to a Mercury Monterey. Is it? Yes, it is a Mercury Monterey. Lovely looking beastie there. Here's another Mini, 1982 or 83, and yeah, probably running probably. I like the way they've decorated that actually. See an MGB sitting next to a Ford Fiesta, probably a Mark 1, I think, Mark 2 perhaps. Remember those from way back when. There's a, oh, what's this? It's a Thunderbird, it's a Ford Thunderbird. Look at the size of it. Not as into it as the 1960s though. Oh, what's it? Oh, I don't know what this is. This looks like a, could be an MGM type, I think. Wondering what this is. Some might know. I have heard of the M type, and it might be this. I think I've seen it before, but I don't know when. Look to my right, another A30 I think, sitting next to another Hillman. So this is another Hillman, it's a Hillman Avenger, 1976. Another one, Land Rover Series 2A, 109 2.25 diesel. Oh. Here's another Triumph Dolomite, and that's the 1300. So that's still looks quite sporty actually. It's still a nice car. Mazda MX-5. Yes. Mazda yeah, so this is a Mazda MX-5. Some parts of the world they're called Miatas, other parts of the world they're Unos. If we come across this Wolseley Hornet here, Wolseley Hornet Mark II, it's 1965. Yeah, it's 998cc, so it's A series. Oh, there's a Fordson Power Major there, carrying a strange water tank. So if we was to move along slightly, we see a Morris Cowley Bullnose. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Saw this one last week actually. It's called Gertie. But this essentially got Britain on the roads, or one of the vehicles that got Britain on the road. Next to this is an MG Rover of some kind. Oh, ZTT. So this is. So this says it's a Morris Minor 1000, but according to the thing, this is a 1098cc, so they might have something a bit bigger in. Oh, wait a minute. This looks like an Austin Princess, but I think it might be a Vanden Plas. And I think the Austin Princess version of this actually won a competition on Top Gear. And they were testing whether British Leyland built a good car. Well, they could. They did. Actually looks quite stylish, come to think of it. Next to this is an MGT type. So yeah, here's a Austin 12.4. Yeah, so that just so we'll take another look at that. It looks like a Princess, but actually it's a Vanden Plas. So right, here's a couple of Jensen Interceptors from the 1950s, not the one from the 1960s and 70s. This is 1950s, so there would have been a straight 6, both of these. I've seen these ones before. This is an Alfa Sud by Alfa Romeo, and a nice Italian racing red there. Would have been a 1300 or something like that. Ford Mark II Ford Escort 1600 Sport. So one of the fast Fords basically. Ford Focus ST. So Mark 1. Here's a Ford Mustang 289 Coupe. Oh, this looks quite. It's a really big Wolseley. I don't know which one. It's a Wolseley 25 horsepower. Oh, sorry. Oh. I was just having a look. Yeah, but this is a Wolseley 25 horsepower. It would have been rated at 25 horsepower, but I would have thought it would have more than that, I think. Because I think I made a comment last week about the way taxation was worked out. That's good. Nice rig that. Next to that's another Vanden Plas. I can tell by a little crown thing, I think. It's a Vanden Plas. So probably a Princess, I think that's. Here we are with a Mercury Monterey. Big saloon. Well, sedan in America, because different. They have a different way of saying stuff. 5 litre V8. Well, 5.1 really. cruising on the freeway with that, lovely. And to my right, Escort XR3i. So Mark III Escort. Everybody wanted one. As I said, some of the wrong people wanted one. Here's a Triumph Spitfire 1500 sitting next to a Volkswagen Type 1 with a roof rack, and could be, and looks like it adjusted, well, air suspension really, so you could adjust it. Another set of wheels. Yes, I don't know why they called it a responder. Right, this one's been parked around the wrong way, but this is an MG Magnet, and it's the hockey stick. I think it has the hockey stick chrome on it, so it's a ZA. I'm sort of imagining one of these. I have imagined one of these with a V8 in before for some weird reason, or a twin turbo 6-cylinder. We're going to make our way back down the way, because here we see a Ford Zephyr drop top. Although drop tops wouldn't have come as standard, you would have had to go somewhere and get it done. Or they would have sent some cars and they got it done. Here's a Ford Granada. In white and a fetching style of rust. Bit of a survivor, that one. Here's a Triumph 2000 Estate. I'd put this down as original and unrestored really. Some people are into that. Some people aren't into restoring things. They want the... In fact, this one, I don't know what this... Look, this looks like a Vauxhall Chevette, I think, Estate. Next to a Jetta, Volkswagen Jetta. Look at that. If we swing to the right, we see a Hillman Superminx sitting next to a Ford Zodiac. It says it's a Zodiac. Yeah, it's a Zodiac. This is the Citroen 2CV. It's a 1983, 84. So they were making these for many years, like 1948 to about 1990. Had a 2-cylinder engine. This one would have been a 600 and something cc 2-cylinder, air cooled. I don't remember much of the technical side, but one of the technical briefs when they first designed the Citroen 2CV and the Diane and all, well, the Citroen 2CV really, first they had to be able to take a tray of eggs on the back seat across a ploughed field and not break a single egg. So this is essentially to motorise the French farmer. Say, give the horses a rest and just take this down to the market. So like, I think, so it had to be a lot of clever features, and it had to be made simple for the French farmer to be able to drive it properly and make best use of it. Here we are with a Mark 3 or 4 Escort here. I think this might be a Mark. Which one's that one? Doesn't say. Just an ordinary. Here's a Jag. So this is probably, which one this is? Probably an XJ. Sitting next to that is an MG. Is it MG Midget? I think it's an MG Midget actually, this. Next to a Vauxhall Velox. Here's a Mark I Ford Escort. rally specs, so there's the rally engine here. That'll be a BDA, I think. Right, so now we got Morris Minor 1000 sitting next to a Mark IV Escort RS Turbo. I've ridden in one of these. It was fun. A Yamaha YZF R1 4XV sitting next to a Mitsubishi Galant. Wait a minute, I think I've seen this one before. I think I've met the owner. Here's an Austin A30 van, a retired builder. So there's a Escort van, a Focus ST and a Sierra Sapphire over there. We get back to the cars, the classic cars, sorry. This is a Volkswagen Type 2 microbus sitting next to some kind of caravan called a Reba. There's a Mercedes SL. Oh, and a couple of classic caravans here, an Ariba and something else. If we just get ourselves past, must be a fan club for Aribas actually. Another Ariba here with an extendable roof. I wonder how much it is to get one of these. Imagine taking that somewhere where you need to camp out. Looks like luxury. Morris Minor 1000 next to a Triumph Vitesse again. It's a J-Reg 1971 model. Slightly bigger caravan here. But if we have a look here, we see a Mazda MX-5 sitting next to a Mark II Ford Escort, done in rally jazzy driving, old school. Yeah, I'd say it's. Next to that's a Ford Cortina 1978 car, and there's one in yellow that's an S in yellow, that one here. I've not seen these before. Another Cortina here, Astra van next to a Nissan Micra. Right, if we go along here a bit, we see it Austin A40. Right, I'll have a look at the tractors in a minute, because I'm just going to go over to this other Austin A40, but a much, oh my life. So this is an Austin A40 next to a MG Midget. No one wants to see that. Yeah, there's an MGV. Take another look later when the bloke's tidied up after himself. Austin A30. Oh, that's a, is that? I think that's a Volkswagen Type 25. This one, or is it a Transporter? It says camper. So there's an MGT Type to my left, and to my right is a Mini Traveller. Ford Cortina there. There's a Ford Capri here. Forgot to make a note which one it is. What's this? This is an Austin A30. 30 again. Okay. Sitting next to a Ford Model T. Oh, this is a Ford Model T, so let's get a proper look at this. There we are. That's the flathead. Looks like a Vauxhall Tigra at the end here, tuned up by Umsha. Next to Triumph Spitfire 1500. We move along a bit, we see a Toyota Serra with the I think that's sort of gull wing doors, really interesting. Seen one of those before. Here's a Mercedes next to a Ford Capri 280. Oh, what's this one? Looks like a Talbot some kind. That's a Talbot. Look at that's an incredibly eco engine, that. Right. And this looks like a gypsy caravan of some kind, actually. A lot of intricate work went into this. Right, if we go down here now. Here's a memory lane thing going on there. This is a miniature Foden.
Let's give her a ring and say.
Oh, this okay.
Oh, I thought you meant to sit on the road.
Couple of interesting little things here. Is this remote controlled vehicles, or is it just miniature stuff? Whole. Right, I'm going to see if I can go over to the tractors now. Right, we're now going over to the tractors, so here's a Ford 4000 next to a New Holland T7.300, just there. Here's a Massey Ferguson 155. There's a 35 and a 65 sitting here. Another one there, I don't know. No, that's a Massey Harris, this one. So there's a Broyle in the Massey Ferguson 6290, and there's a 3085 in the background. There's 65 over there somewhere. Yeah, so there's a 65 amongst there somewhere. We'll move over here. We see a McCormick International B250 in green, sitting next to a Fordson Major with a digging bucket. Here's a wheel horse, I think it's a collar. Here's a Leyland tractor next to a Fordson Dexter. There's a Massey Ferguson 35 just there. That's a Ferguson. I'm trying to remember which one this is. It must be a 35, I think. Here's a Renault tractor next to a Ferguson in yellow. Here's the 35 again, and this is a Massey Ferguson of some kind. Doesn't say which one. Maybe it's a Q. Here's a Ferguson done in black with turbo fitted. Here's various ploughs. I'm going